Welcome back, guys, to another YouTube tutorial. It's your boy Sam, and today we're going to be discussing C++. This is going to be a series. I'll be dropping them probably daily, weekly, depending on how my workflow and everything is. But yeah, we're going to be going through everything about C++. This is the first language I actually got introduced to programming. I learned it back in the college, so I'm really excited about this. And the way this is going to be structured is we'll start with what is C++, what is it used for, the kinds of applications you can build with it, and why this programming language is needed. And after that, we'll talk about some elements like source code, machine code, compiler, and algorithms. These are things you need to know to really understand how the program works. So you know what? Let's get to it. Now for the second part, this is going to be a part two video of this. And this part, we're going to talk about Visual Studio Code basics. And we're also going to talk about how you build and how you run your programs in C++. So you know what? Let's start with this. Now, what is C++? C++, as we can see right here, it's a multi-purpose language, it's a case-sensitive language, and it's also compiled. Now, what do I mean by multi-purpose? What I mean by multi-purpose is that it's a general-purpose programming language. You can use it to build operating systems, games, compiler, browser, embedded systems, and even many more softwares. So yeah, this is a really large-scale programming language that you can use for different things. And another thing about C++ is that it's case sensitive. And what we mean by case sensitive is that it differentiates between capital and lowercase letters. So you can see here, this function here, the difference is that it starts with a capital F and the other one starts with a small f. So they are different. They're not the same thing. And what we mean by compiled programming language is that it converts a particular programming language, and in this case, it could be C++, it could be Java, and then it converts that into machine code. And this code is the computer's code, it's the computer's language. So that's what C++ is. Another thing we're going to talk about is compile time error, and these are errors that we make. So these are like syntax or semantic errors, and this is something that we make and we need to also make sure we understand. That's the whole purpose of this course so that we can reduce semantic errors, we can reduce compile time errors if you understand the programming language very well. Now, why was C++ created? So basically what we needed was that we wanted all the advantages of the C programming language and we didn't want the disadvantages of the C programming language. So that's why we got the C++. We wanted all the efficiency, the speed, the flexibility of C, but we didn't want the complexity of C. So that's why C++ was created. Now let's talk about source code, machine code, and compiler. So you can see in this diagram that we have the source code. This is our code, the code that we write, and then we have the compiler, and then we have the machine code. Now let me show you an example of source code, and I want to show you an example of the machine code. So the machine code, as you can see here, is just different numbers. You'll see zero ones. It's it's jargons compared to like understanding it. It's really hard to understand, so we can understand that. But the source code you can see right here, we have A is equal to hello, and then B is equal to A plus exclamation mark. So basically B would be and hello with an exclamation mark. So this is our type of programming language. And now you can also see why we need the compiler, because the compiler really helps us out. It makes things easier for us. It converts our code to a code that the machine understands, as we talked about earlier. Now, another thing I just really want us to briefly talk about that is really important is what is an algorithm? An algorithm is like a recipe. And what is a recipe or an algorithm? A recipe or an algorithm is like it's a sequence of steps to obtain an expected output from a given input. If you enjoyed this video, please give a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Many more videos to come on C++. It's a really nice language. A lot of people run from it, but for me, I find it really exciting. It was the first language I got into, and it really helped my programming journey. You know what? I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video.